Hello, Summer Smasher info session invitees. You are the first group that we're meeting with. We might have more info sessions down the line of people just genuinely interested in what Summer Smasher is and what it does. You can advance the slide, Johanna. I want to just really quickly go through what our agenda is. I want to keep it nice and tight so that you guys can get back to your day. We're going to do a quick icebreaker. We're going to introduce ourselves as admin. We're going to do a program breakdown, and then I'm going to talk a little bit about the application. We'll have stops in between for questions, for like live questions. So I would say avoid putting them in the chat. I appreciate the chat for networking, as I mentioned earlier. Like, please introduce yourself, continue to connect with other students in there. It's very, very smart. It makes it very hard for me to answer questions though, because they're like buried in all of your great conversations on there. So don't put it in the chat. Just wait for that opportunity and then use the hand raise function and or whatever. So that's my suggestion. Okay, scooch it along. All right, so here's the icebreaker. You can I'm only going to have one person for each of these questions, and then one person share their most frequently used emoji. And I don't know if all of you guys are like crazy, like busy or somewhere where you can't talk or whatever. If that's the case, when I call on you, because that's how I'm going to do this, just say you can't, and I won't take it personally. Too many people say they can't, though. I'm going to think that something's up. My feelings will get hurt. So don't do that. If somebody just said they couldn't before you, please don't be the next person to say that you can't. We're going to actually do the thing. Okay, so I started with to show you guys like what my most favorite emoji uses, and it's like the nervous laughter. I mean, I do that in the real world, so it's obviously a very useful emoji for me in my chats. It basically takes the edge off of anything I say, and so that's why I like it so much. Now, if you're like super excited to answer any of these questions, use the hand raise function. Otherwise, I'm going to give you guys about a minute to think about these questions, and then I'm going to hit some people up. So one more minute. If you're a nice person and you have an answer to some of these questions, I'd say raise your hand and spare your friends. Otherwise, this is going to be roll of the dice. One more minute to think on this stuff. Okay, here we go. No hand raised, so let's see. Let's see, Snehal, you there? Snehal going once, going twice. Painful. Okay, I'm gonna pick another name. Let's go with Min. Min was here early, bright and early. He was one of the first ones in the group. Min, are you there? The answer should be yes.
Hi, yes, I'm there. I'm here. Sorry, but I couldn't switch on the radio because I'm actually in front of the plaza at the Viterbi. So I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So are you okay to talk? What's your favorite startup and why?
I think I mean, is it supposed to be in the garage, or does it have to be like outside startup as well?
Yeah, any startup in the history of startups.
Oh, I think I'm really looking at into OpenAI right now, because they have one of the most prominent products over these years. Yeah, I think there's something that I can get in as well, but let's see how it goes.
Yeah, they had something like how many million users sign up in the first 5 hours of its launch date, or the first 5 days. I forget what the actual metrics are.
Yeah. So I think the hype is really there, but let's see.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see if it helps or destroys the entire world. Cool. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Now I'm going to see what makes you interested in startups, and I'm going to Kritika. You there?
Hi. Can I answer the first question?
Sure.
Okay, one of my favorite startups back in India, I'm from India actually, so is the OI Rooms, where he actually utilized the apartments which were not getting rented, and he started renting them at very cheap prices, where any person could actually come and stay there for a night for about 600 or 700 in INR rupees. So that was a very clever idea, where he actually utilized the houses which were just there for many years and not used, and not he just changed everything, made it a bit clean, and started Ritesh Agarwal is the owner of the startup.
Ooh,
At a very young age he did that.
He saw a problem and he decided to address it. I mean, that is like startup 101, is like identifying a problem. So that's really great. Cool. Thank you. So we'll skip question number 2 just to save time. Do you have a startup idea? If so, what? This might straight up just be a no. So I'm going to see, let's go Jesse Mendoza. Jesse, you there? Oh, you students, driving me crazy. I'm going up to Griffin McRae. Are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Do you have a startup idea?
Nothing like too specific, but I know like the genre. There's this one company called Hubble, which did like a lunar motorcycle prototype, sorry. And I thought that was very interesting. And I think something similar to that, just like lunar technology, maybe something like really far out in the future, I think would be interesting.
Are you into like robotics and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm starting to get into more like robotics. I'm at like USC's Space Engineering Research Center, so we kind of work with that stuff a little bit.
Cool. Okay. Last question. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask Johanna to answer this question.
Oh, goodness.
I'm going to involve the admin on this. Johanna, what's the most challenging thing you've done in your life?
Oh, that's a great question. I think I lived in a different country than I grew up in for a couple of years. So I think it was both beautiful and challenging, and like learning to adjust to a new environment. So props to those who are maybe on this call who are international students who have joined USC and getting adjusted, because there's aspects that it's beautiful, but also there's parts that are really challenging to live from a different home context.
Thank you, Johanna. All right. I think we will shove it right along. Thank you guys for those who participated. Obviously, I'm not upset with anyone who couldn't. So who are we? Johanna, what are our roles? How do we play a part in Summer Smasher? At the end of the day, we're coordinators for the Technology, Innovation, and Entrepreneurship Office, which you may or may not be familiar with. It's a student-facing office of resources, support, competitions, you name it, in an effort to get students specifically at the Viterbi School, but very open to interacting with other schools, opportunities in innovation, technology, and entrepreneurship. So for instance, Summer Smasher is a great way to kind of like slowly enter the world of startups, because basically you're potentially going to join a startup, do projects for them. You're going to learn a little bit about what it means to be a startup. After that, I feel like the world is your guys' oyster. You can choose to start working on something yourself. You can take the tools and the things that you've learned and the connections and everything that you've been able to pull together and potentially have a startup yourself. That office is meant to help you do that. And so do not hesitate to visit our website, ask us more questions about the TIE office and what we do. But that's who we are. We help coordinate programs and things out of that office. I'm over at the Viterbi Startup Garage, and Johanna does a lot of the competitions on campus. Johanna, you want to talk a little bit about like other stuff that you do?
Yeah, like Arcelia mentioned, mainly I'm the program coordinator for the different kind of pitch competitions and programs that Viterbi Technology, Innovation, or Entrepreneurship, or TIE, offers. And so there's an undergrad only program that occurs in the spring called ABC, and it kind of is like an introductory to innovation and entrepreneurship and building your idea to what it takes for it to be a startup. So I think Summer Smasher is a great opportunity for, like Arcelia mentioned, to build connections and community. And then maybe if you have an idea, or if someone has an idea, those that you meet during Summer Smasher, you could have a team to be part of our different programs. That two of the programs culminate in a $50,000 prize that would go towards your venture.
Yep. And then the really, really amazing storyline would be you've done Summer Smasher, you go off, you go do your own startup stuff, and then you come back to the Viterbi Startup Garage as a startup. That would be my dream. We've been doing this long enough that could start to happen. I'm super excited about that being the case. Okay. Move it forward. There's one other person who you will get to know, and that's the faculty person involved in the program. His name is Dr. David Gerber. He is a busy man and does a lot of stuff when it comes to innovation and entrepreneurship. He has a startup himself, and he's like a mentor for all sorts of other startups. And he's also involved in some of those competitions through our office. So he will be doing stuff like labs, coordinating the speakers, and also hosting office hours to answer any of your unique questions that have to do with the program side of Summer Smasher. And we'll send out this deck to you guys later so you can like really read all of his bio and whatever, but he's a great person. Talk about networking resource. You should get to know David Gerber. Next. Okay, so we're going to stop here before we move on about the program. You might have questions about the program, which I'll just like hold off on until after we talk about the program. Do you have any questions about us, the TIE office, anything so far? Let's see. I'm assuming silence means we do not have any questions. Okay. Johanna's going to talk about the program. So I'm going to let you take it away, Johanna.
Yes, the program is 8 weeks, and generally within each week of the program, and it's hosted at the Viterbi Startup Garage in Marina del Rey, and it's both in person and remote, so hybrid program. And so within each week of the 8-week program, there's going to be a speaker date where a speaker time where it's a luncheon where we bring in different like co-founders and founders to share about their founding journey, just all the way through, and highlighting different aspects of innovation and entrepreneurship. And so that's another great resource for both gaining of knowledge and then also potential for networking opportunities for you. There'll be lab meetings within each week as well, where you'll get to meet with Dr. David Gerber and kind of workshop the different, if you have questions about the projects that you were assigned to from the startup that you're working for that's in the Viterbi Startup Garage, or if you have questions of other aspects of or like problem solving, Dr. David Gerber has lab meetings or kind of office hours to meet with you. And then the third is that startup projects. So each startup within the Viterbi Startup Garage will assign you an 8-week project for you to be working on that'll carry you throughout. And so those are the 3 main things that you would be working on and what the program entails as far as week to week for those 8 weeks. A closer look within that is really, as a Summer Smasher, you'll be an entrepreneur in training. So you'll spend your summer working closely with the Viterbi Startup Garage founders and engineers on meaningful technical and non-technical projects at an early startup stage. And you'll also be given the opportunity to take ownership and contribute value and learn firsthand what it means to scale a business through the speaker series, which will happen each week, and the lab, which will also happen each week. Do you guys have any questions so far about either slide, I guess, the program breakdown or all right, silence is If you have other questions about this, you can ask us at a later point as well. So I'm going to pass it off to Arcelia, who's going to highlight the different aspects of the application process.
Yeah, I mean, thank you, Johanna. You said it perfectly. Summer
Mhm.
Smash is really like two things. It is a project, it's a project that you're doing for a startup team at the garage. Super duper helpful. We couldn't appreciate your technical services or your business services or all of the things that you do, adding value to those startups. It's amazing to think that like you guys as students who are, most of the projects that you guys are involved in help your grades, help your education, kind of help move you forward. Summer Smasher gives you a really great opportunity to do projects that like legitimately help a business that's out in the real world, like track towards their next big stage, which in the startup world is like huge. If you work for corporate America, you can contribute in small ways and be kind of a bit of a cog in a larger machine. And you don't really get to see the value add of what you bring because the whole thing is so big. In a startup, everything you contribute, you see it make a real significant difference in real time, which is why the projects are such a important aspect. I would say 50% is like project work. And then the other 50%, like Johanna was saying, is all the curricular stuff, the speaker series, the lab meetings, because at the end of the day, you might not want to be working in a startup. You might want to have a startup of your own. You might be an entrepreneur. So we think of you guys as entrepreneurs in training. So the application process to get into the Summer Smasher is okay. It's broken down into like these 4 sections, but it's really 2 applications. The first one, which there's absolutely no reason for all of you not to apply to it, is like it's basically like a wide net that we cast, super high, big open funnel. Everyone will get through to round 2, so long as you know how to fill out a online application. So if you know how to do an online form, you're a shoo-in for the first round application. It's a great way for us to get early information about you as well, which helps us to kind of organize how we prepare for the second round application. The first round application deadline is April 9th. So there's a lot of time between now and then, but literally there's no reason why you shouldn't just submit it as soon as possible. It's very short. It doesn't require much information. There's the QR code. You're not on the hook for anything. It's just a way for us to capture your information early as somebody who's like, interested in being part of the second round. The second round is where you definitely want to bring your A game. So the second round will include all of these projects that the teams have set out. You're going to look at all those projects. You're going to pick the ones that make the most sense for you, your skill set, your interests, whatever. You can apply to multiple projects. You can apply to all the projects. At the end of the day, you're probably not going to be suited to do all the projects. So you just apply to the ones that are meaningful and interesting to you. And the projects will also tell you a little bit of information about whether or not it's a solo project, a group project. So, if you like working with teams, you might want to go for the group project ones. If you like working alone, you might want to apply for the solo ones. So there's going to be plenty of information to help you make good decisions about the projects for the summer. Once you have that idea and you've created those selections, then you submit a video, basically introducing who you are to the teams. This is kind of a way to streamline because we get a lot of applicants. And so we have like a video screening week at the garage where we eat a bunch of popcorn and watch all of your videos and applaud for you guys behind your backs because you guys made such great videos. And then the teams start to make selections on who they'd like to interview. We call that match week. And so for a week, the teams will provide their Calendly links for virtual interview, and we will send out notifications on who got invited to match week. And then you will participate in that match week process. Basically 15, 20 minutes tops, interviews with the teams for them to make decisions about who they'd actually like to place on their projects. At the end of all of that, the teams are expected to submit offers to me. Then there's 2 rounds of offers. So there's the first round offers, which are the people that they'd really like. And then they also have a second round of people that, in case the first people fall through. And that happens because you guys are highly sought after students and there are probably other things for you to do in the summer. No one's relying on you guys, so don't feel pressure. But at the end of the day, teams have to hedge their bets, just like you guys have to hedge your bets. And so first round student offers will go out. And the most beautiful thing about Summer Smasher for the students is that you guys get the final decision. So you guys are the like pretty ladies on the dance floor, right? You're going to just sit there and wait. The teams are going to provide you their offers, and then you get to decide who you want to dance with all summer long. And so that's essentially the process, and it happens over a long period of time. But I'm just going to mention that the kind of match week portion does seem to happen very quickly, and that's intentional. That's kind of like the fast-paced startup environment that we're used to. And so if it does feel a little bit like you're getting trash compacted, it's because that's what it's like to be in a startup, and it's a good time for you guys to experience that pressure. Okay, next slide. So just to give you a little bit more of a closer look at what that might look like, especially that second round application, because that's a bulk of what the application process is. Here is a real student who applied, I guess this was back in like 2019 or whatever. Her video, her projects of interest, this is like the kind of like demographic and information that we like to collect so that we provide this to the teams who you are interested in so that they can make good decisions. She's going to be answering 3 prompted questions. You will know what your prompted questions are in the application, but let's listen to what Madhuri has to say.
My name is Madhuri Dev. I'm a junior in Viterbi studying computer science games, and I'd like to be in Summer Smasher to apply the things that I've learned in the field classroom and see the impact of my work in industry. I would love the opportunity to grow and learn new technical skills while also wearing different hats in a startup environment and seeing the business and leadership side. I think I bring a unique sense of mental toughness and ownership that I've learned from playing tennis for the past 15 years and on the club team here at USC. I think that the sport's uniquely independent nature has taught me a lot about self-discipline and making and owning up to decisions. I think that's incredibly important in any professional environment, especially in a startup. I would probably choose the ability to draw things into existence, like in Harold and the Purple Ground, which was my favorite book growing up. I've been drawing and painting since I was little, and I think that the chance to make my environment a little bit more vibrant or colorful or whimsical would definitely make my days better.
Thank you. Okay, great. So like the 3 questions that she answered is why Summer Smasher and what unique skill do you bring? And then if you had a superpower, what would you choose and what would you do first? We've been sticking to those questions. Those are probably going to be the questions. I think they really help us to understand you on a bunch of different levels. And I think the teams really like those answers. At the end of the day, the teams will also have your resume. They'll have your interests, your project interests. So they'll have plenty of data to make good decisions. Next slide. And so this is okay. So on the left-hand side, what you'll see is a sample project. And on the right-hand side, you'll see the team who that project is from, and then all of the projects that they added to. This was last year's Summer Smasher. So basically all those projects on the right-hand side is the project title. And then on the left-hand side, the project title, and underneath is some of the details like essentially the project description, what department that project falls under, and the skills required in order to be able to manage that project over the 8 weeks. And I know from the data, from the application, that this was a group project, at least 2 people on it. And then if you don't mind, Johanna pushing play, you guys can meet Roman Aerospace.
Hi, I'm Tom.
Oh no. Give it some time.
CEO of Roman Aerospace. At Roman Aerospace, we're building AI and machine learning systems to support the autonomous drones and flight vehicles of our future cities. We have had some great experience working with Summer Smashers in the past, and we're super excited about working with some great talent this summer. We are building machine learning systems that take drone data stored in the cloud, share it across many different drone platforms, all connected to the same cloud database. And we do optimization and machine learning models and performance tuning and performance enhancement to share across all the drones connected to our system. Beyond that, we're taking spatial data stored by all of these drones, merging it in the cloud, and sharing this environmental data across the drones in our network. We're really excited for some CS, some AI, some aerospace, potentially some mechanical engineering, and some great USC support this summer. Thanks a lot.
So I'll collect similar videos this year from all the teams who are participating. This year specifically, well, I'm going to continue this. We're going to bring one alumni team from the Startup Garage to come join us. And so this team is going to be, you know, well far beyond where the teams are today in terms of how much they've been able to fund and grow. At the end of the day, you guys get really great opportunities with these teams. I just saw on LinkedIn a few weeks ago, last year's Summer Smasher student just got hired at the startup that they worked for during the summer. It does take them some time to be able to raise the capital they need to be able to afford you guys as skilled paid employees for sure. But it's nice for you guys to be the first people that they think of when they finally have the capital to pull that off. So again, it kind of just gives you a really great opportunity to build relationships with teams at their earliest stage. Next screen. Okay, before we start the key dates, which is really just like a data dump, I wanted to see if anyone has any questions about the application process or the projects for that matter. Did the icebreaker do the opposite of what it was supposed to do? Did I like scare everybody?
You
I
froze
am tense.
No.
It's like ice maker, not icebreaker. I just made that up. Come on, friends. Somebody must have a dying question. Here's a question that everyone asks every year that no one's asking. Do you get paid? Is anyone thinking that? Has anyone experienced that question in their heart or their mind about Summer Smasher? Unfortunately, this is an unpaid program. In terms of monetary payment, actually what you get out of this program I think is much more valuable than pay. You are getting a really great opportunity to build a set of skills that are hard to build at the university. Not necessarily, actually. There's a lot of courses and things that'll help you to do this, but this allows you to do it like in real time with real teams, which is a little bit different. You know, experiencing what it's like to be a startup is very different than learning what it takes to be a startup. And you get both of those things at Summer Smasher. So you get to take all of that with you. And then also all of the network connections. You also get like a letter from the dean and from the vice dean, and then you also get like letters of recommendations from your team. You get to add what you did to your project portfolio. There's all sorts of other great tangible things that you get to take from the program, but it is not a paid program. Any other questions?
RC, how many hours am I expected to be a part of, to commit to Summer Smasher?
That's a very good question, Johanna. So the expectation is actually very conditional. So for instance, you are going to be required, hold on, I'm about to sneeze. No, it's not going to come. You're required to participate in the speaker series and in lab meetings. So those two things, which are an hour apiece, happen every week for 2 weeks. So that's 2 hours every week. Then there's the student showcase, which is about 2.5 hours. No, 1.5 hour. Student showcase, so beautiful. Oh God, I love the student showcase. You guys should watch all the past student showcases. It's an event where you guys present all of your stuff to us and we all applaud your efforts. It's just such a great event. That's only about 2 hours. Other than those requirements, dedicated requirements, the rest of your time commitment is based off of your project. So you would negotiate that with the teams that you've applied to and potentially during that match week process. So, you know, this actually works in a lot of students' favor, especially if they have multiple things they'd like to accomplish in the summer. So for instance, you might have other summer internship opportunities that you'd like to balance against your Summer Smasher project. You might have a trip with your family that you'd like to go on because every year you go on a trip with your family. we're not trying to clog up your summer with expectations that you cannot meet. Those negotiations need to happen with the teams during match week. We have a question from Snehal. So yeah, it's hybrid. And a lot of these teams are very familiar with remote work. We all are, right? We all went home during the pandemic, and we all, struggled to go back to the office or to the classroom. And we got really good at doing what we need to do remotely. The teams are also like that. The garage is a place, though. It is a office in the marina. We love to have people in the space. There's something very precious about interacting with your teammates in person that we don't like losing. So I'm there. The invitation for you to be there is always there. There's no time or you can't be at the garage. 24/7 access while you're a Summer Smasher student. And there's also a shuttle that will bring you from campus to the ISI building, which is where we are. That runs like multiple times a day. So you don't even have to get your stuff, like over there with your own transportation. You can just take the shuttle. So yeah, but like, I guess the long story short is it really depends on your project. But you can bet that you're going to be committing at least 2 hours a week to just the programmatic expectations. Oh, another question in the chat. Hello, I would like to ask how many students can pass all the application process and eventually into this program. Oh, like the metrics? Actually, I have a slide in a previous version of this where I was like, this many people applied, this many people made it to matric, this many people made it into the program. But I usually do that during the student showcase because it's like, let's celebrate how hard it is to get into Summer Smasher, and you guys did it. I don't know if it's like helpful for you guys to feel that pressure up front. Really, every year, it depends on how many projects are available and how many students suit those projects. So you could be a very skilled and capable person and not get into the Summer Smasher for no reason other than there wasn't a project that matched your skill set. However, that's where the second application is so important, because you guys will submit your application first round with your initial resume. It just proves you know how to upload a resume, right? Second application, you're going to have projects that you can look at that might make you feel like your first resume isn't the best version of that resume. We all know that we should be working on our resumes to suit the things we're applying for. So don't just submit your resume again as it was the first round. Think about the projects, really fix your resume to suit you and the projects you're interested in, so that when the teams look at it, you look like a qualified candidate. So like lean on your strengths that work within that framework. But you guys should all know that already, that you guys should be working on your resumes to suit things that you're applying for. So do that. Don't not do that. Thank you so much. So just to clarify, would we live in LA in our own accommodations and then take a shuttle to the garage? Yeah, there's no, well, no, not necessarily. You don't have to be in LA. If you work out something with your teams for remote work, then you can be anywhere. We've had students that have worked, who have done Summer Smasher, who were international. They went back home. And the Oceanside, it's not Oceanside Chat, the speaker series and the lab meetings are virtual. I don't know if David Gerber is going to have an in-person option, like a hybrid. It's up to him to decide. But at the end of the day, there's always going to be a Zoom option for both of those things, for the speaker and the lab. So you can go home. You don't have to be in LA. Don't feel that pressure. Ooh, we got a hand raise. Min, please.
Hi, yes. As an international student, and since this is an unpaid program, like, do you know how the work organization is gonna be like? Like, can we continue working with F1?
I'm so sorry. I feel like I didn't hear that question enough to be able to answer it. Joe, did you get that?
Were you asking about just the reality of being an international student and like unpaid internship? And then were you asking about like future?
Yeah, I mean, like, for this program, do we need like a certain work authorization for it? Like, do we have to apply for like an OPT or something like that?
Yeah, okay. So this is a great question. Thank you for asking it. International students, please listen. The Summer Smasher program has been cleared and is a safe place for you to do a project and learn about entrepreneurship without CPT. The Office of International Students and also the graduate students director who manages a lot of the ways that we need to protect you guys and your status. They've all approved everything. We've been running it for 4 years. It's a big important part of what I do too, because I want, you guys are, when you're with the garage, I'm like, I'm your mom the same way I'm the team's mom, and I want to keep you guys safe. After the Summer Smasher, that's when you do need a CPT. While you're students, that's just a fact. Now, the way that can work out is very, like I can put you in contact with teams who've done it successfully with students that have done Summer Smasher. You guys can go and figure that out yourself through the resources on campus that are provided for you. But nearing the end of Summer Smasher, I always have a very great heart-to-heart with the students who are international to just remind you that startups are like any other animal that's trying to survive. Like they're going to do what it takes to get their business off the ground. And so you have to be careful, because not to suggest that they're going to try to take advantage of you, but they aren't worried about being an international student. You are. And so really protect yourself and make sure that you're not putting your status in question, or putting yourself in a position where you might, under some sort of audit or review, have a difficult time working or staying in the United States. And I can always have more conversations with students who are really concerned about that. But at the very least, you can rest assured that during the Summer Smasher, during those 8 weeks, your status is completely safe. Does that help, Min? I'm going to assume that that's a yes. I'm going to assume you're quiet. You guys being quiet is like, okay, great, thanks. Okay, did I get them all? I think we got all the questions. How are we doing on time?
Yeah, you have time back in your calendar. Maybe we can stay on to those who yeah.
Here's one. Oh no, so I got, okay, wait. Thank you. So if I go back to India for the summer, I can complete the 8-week entire program virtually. And do I need to be here in person for a week or two initially to fulfill any requirements? No, Snehal, I don't think you do. And I also think that with students who have been in India, the biggest challenge is the time difference. So for instance, the speaker series and the lab meeting might be like in the middle of the night for you. Yeah. So in certain cases, we make accommodations, which are very important these days. And for international students who go back home, we don't want you awake in the middle of the night doing this stuff. That's crazy. You should be sleeping. So then we make arrangements for you to watch those things and participate after the fact, right? You watch the video, you ask your questions, or give us some indication that you've watched and learned something. And then for lab meetings, the same thing. We give you an opportunity to connect with David Gerber, to connect with your student colleagues. There's going to be a Slack for all of you guys to be able to get nice and close. So yeah, there's plenty of ways to be away and still involved. But it's very, in those cases, it's very conditional and it accommodates for a single person. We don't, if you can be in person, or I'm not in person, if you can be en vivo, right, virtually, you should be. So those accommodations are only really when it's pretty challenging for you. Okay, I think we got it. Thank you so much. Okay, nice. I mean, I feel like we've lost a few people. We used to be at a Ripe 23. We're now at 17. I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna let you guys go, but keep an eye out for a follow-up email, and also continue to look out for more information about second round applications, especially if you've applied to the first round. And if we do just have teams join us for our second info session and you want to meet some teams, feel free to join us then for the second info session and, say hi to some of the teams that are going to participate, the startup teams. Anything else, Joe?
Someone did ask, like, is this like a paid, like, do you have to pay for Summer Smasher? I just saw that, but
No, honey.
it's free.
We're
Yeah.
lucky to have you.
Yeah, no, yeah, free resource.
All right, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. Hope to see all your names in the application pool.
Thank you.